Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, Magnetic Reversal News, Sacred Geography, and Shinrin Yoku, bringing you a grand solar minimum update. Sunday, February 5th, around 8 p.m. Mountain Time 2023. A major earthquake just occurred in central Turkey, chiming in at 7.8 magnitude. Now, lesser quakes have killed dozens in this area, so this quake could be very deadly, but very little information coming in as it just occurred. Another big story, the Northeast Arctic blast sets record minus 108 Fahrenheit wind chill in the United States, specifically New Hampshire. Keep calm. It's cold out. Now, Mount Washington saw a record wind chill of negative 108.4 happening the other morning. And this is the lowest temperature ever recorded in North America, as well as the non-wind chill temperature, which was epic, minus 47. Now, Jackson Hole, Wyoming also just recorded its biggest two-day snowfall ever. This is as the Sierras have the entire winter season snowpack already in place.
That's deep.
Hello.
Oh. Can't see. Too deep. Oh, ripped away. Oh my God.
Too deep to see in Jackson Hole. Take a look. And there's more heavy snow coming to the Sierras, as it looks like atmospheric rivers will return mid-February. Heavy snow is coming to Tahoe now, and we will get to the forecast in just a moment. Now let's take a look at some of the, drought relief happening in the West because of this triple dip La Nina. Here are before and after of Lake Oroville in California. The second largest reservoir, after just a few years ago was threatening to break through the dam, dried up a year and a half ago, as you can see in these pictures, and filled up as rapidly as it dried out. Those are the current shots, January 2023. And here we're looking at September 2021. 187 feet of rise in the lake. How do you like them apples? Expect a soggy, shivering spring this year. Ding, ding. So apparently, Oroville may continue to fill even more before the snowpack begins to melt. Will this be another catastrophic meltwater season? I hope so, because I love the whitewater. But according to the Farmer's Almanac, those hoping for temperatures to warm up soon will have to wait a bit for that to happen, as the Farmer's Almanac predicts unseasonably cold weather for much of the country, along with plenty of precipitation, or what they're referring to as the soggy, shivering spring ahead. And Puxatawny Phil confirmed it by seeing his shadow and running back into his hole. Temperatures will continue to moderate across the east half of the nation through at least the first half of the week, and then a developing storm across the southern plains may bring some heavy rain from the plains to the lower Great Lakes region, a wintry mix and accumulating snow across the Midwest and upper Mississippi Valley into midweek, and we'll cover that all in just a second here. The West remains unsettled with occasional rain and snow. Winter storm watches and warnings west of the Continental Divide. Click on your county for more information. All the links will be below. Here is the GFS model, 18Z run. We'll just move it through. Here's your Monday through Tuesday. Tuesday morning, so heavy snow west of the Continental Divide for the next 24 hours. Could be picking up to a foot in the Sierras, a foot or more in the Cascades, especially Washington State, a foot or more in Idaho, a foot or more on the Wyoming border here with Idaho, a foot or more in the high elevations of northern Utah, as well as, let's say, Steamboat in northern Colorado. And then here we'll move it through Tuesday. Wednesday, heavy snow moves back into the Pacific Northwest. Could be up to 4 feet of snow accumulating in the Cascades by Wednesday. Heavy snow also moving into Utah as the system moves through the northern plains and the upper Midwest and the Northeast late in the week here. This is through Friday into Saturday and Sunday. And then the models obviously get a little blurry, but heavy snow in the forecast throughout the end of February, including all the way down south here into Texas, maybe, and Arkansas, as well as Tennessee could be picking up some of the global warming goodness. So stay tuned for more accurate forecasting for that region in just about a week. Now, as we look at the total snow mass for the Northern Hemisphere, minds should be blown. This is the third year for the entire snowpack season. The red line stayed above the average 40-year mark, which is the dashed black line in the center here. So well above in record territory for the early part, above the 40-year average, and now we're back into record territory as we are predicting heavy snow to continue in the Northern Hemisphere through March. Seismic update. We already have an aftershock in the region, maybe multiple. 6.7 kicking off. This is bad news. A 6.6 magnitude earthquake just months ago caused dozens of deaths in this region. So this 7.7 magnitude is 7.8, still not downgraded, is on the shake map as red. This is very dangerous quake. And just let's take a quick look to see if there are any reports on damages. Yeah, and bad news. This is coming from Matthew Capuccio. Breaking news. Significant casualties are likely with the major 7.8 earthquake that just struck near Nuladgi. It was a shallow quake with lateral side-to-side fault slip, so extreme shaking in the region. Bad news. We're going to quick retweet this, so please make sure you join us over at Oppenheimer Ranch Project on Twitter, at Diamond the Dave. That is our site. And follow us there. Now, let's take a look. This is, unfortunately, a very bad situation. Here we can see that quake, and just a few miles away, this is probably, let's see, 1 mile here, 10 miles away is a major city. This could be millions of people, and lots of these buildings are not earthquake-proof. So we could see the collapse of tens of thousands of homes, and we could see a complete recovery effort in this region because the shaking was so severe. So this is very bad news coming out from Turkey, and a tragedy. So all of our prayers and thoughts are going out to people in this region of Turkey as we make the video. Worldwide volcano news update. There are no spectacular volcanic infarctions to report on. Popo to 20,000, Sungay, Ibico, Swanosima, all to normal levels. Let's take a look here. We did have some pyroclastic flows being generated at Semeru earlier in the day with billowing ash plumes that were quite spectacular. And I believe here we have one other update on Cotopaxi in Ecuador. Surveillance flights show no significant changes, but there is a new cinder cone growing in the center of the caldera. Space weather news update. The sun has gone basically silent for days, almost a week now. Let's take a look at the latest HMI intensity. No development of sunspots, completely blank at solar max. Grand solar minimum much? Earliest evidence of humans in Ireland. This is very interesting because there was no evidence until just recently of humans prior to any of the catastrophes at the end of the last ice age. In fact, occupations in Ireland were thought to be recent, 10,000 years or earlier. But this bone found in a cave may push the dates back for the earliest human settlement of Ireland by 2,500 years. The bone shows clear signs of cut marks with stone tools and has been carbon dated to 12,500 years ago. So people, right after the Younger Dryas catastrophe, were hiding in caves in Ireland, trying to eat some meat. Speaking of meat, an elusive cat species was recently found on the slopes of Mount Everest. No one knew it was there, and this is one of the highest elevation creatures or mammals on Earth. Isolated by the rocky slopes and unforgiving cold, these thick-furred felines roam Mount Everest in secret until now. Researchers were exploring the southern slopes of Mount Everest in Sagarmatha National Park in Nepal, according to a January 26 news release from the Wildlife Conservation Society. Now, we have known that small Rodents can live way up high, up to 20,000 feet or more, including mice and rats and other things, shrews. And apparently, there are cats up there feeding on them, and they were unnoticed until now. In fact, this cat has been found at 2 locations. One just over 16,700 feet above sea level, and the other just over 17,000 feet above sea level. Absolutely mind-blowing. Okay, we have some breaking news. We do have some footage coming out now we're going to share with you. This is coming from the devastating quake that happened in Turkey. We can see here entire buildings have collapsed. This is going to be a very deadly earthquake based on just this initial report. Look at the debris now. Is it snowing there? And this is all being shared on our Twitter now, where we can see here more evidence of complete collapse of structures. So this is going to be a major recovery effort, and plus the looting. Do you see how that guy just ran out of there? So it's not looking good for central Turkey, and that city we just pointed out. These are probably scenes coming from that particular city, which is about 10 miles to the east of that epicenter. So, unfortunately, we do have confirmation on very bad things happening in Turkey. And I apologize that I have to bring this to you live, but we want to be some of the fastest breaking news on the interwebs. So sometimes we got to go beyond and above. So stay tuned in the morning for more updates on that catastrophic event in Turkey. Now, where were we? Some more interesting creatures around the world being discovered. The rare Steller's sea eagle makes its highly anticipated return to Maine. This very rare and elusive gigantic raptor, the rare Steller's sea eagle, is seen here once again back in Maine. It's insane. It was found at 2:45 p.m. Saturday along the Black River, spotted by Stacy Hildreth. And this bird has also only recently become a sight in North America. The incredible rare eagle from eastern Siberia moved across North America in 2021 and then spent the winter from December 30th, 2021 through March 5th, 2022 around Midcoast, Maine, and now has been respotted and apparently is re-inhabiting an ancient biome. Now, please get outside tonight if the skies are clear. It's cloudy here and we're expecting snow, but the full snow moon of 2023 is happening now. In fact, the smallest micromoon of the year rises tonight. And braving the cold February evening will be worth it, because this little tiny baby, the smallest micromoon of the year, is bright. And it might be cold outside, but witnessing the full moon is always a treat for sky watchers, particularly when it's a special one, like the micromoon. February's full snow moon rises Sunday, February 5th, and will be the smallest full moon of the year. Now, many people have claimed that the Olmec heads, down there in Central and South America, are evidence that Africans once lived on the continent. The only problem is there is indigenous Olmec people that are still alive, and they appear to look exactly like the carved heads. Now, don't they? So no conspiracy theories, no Africans in South America, just the indigenous Olmec that have been there for thousands and thousands of years. Now, if you don't know about the composition of the sun and you think it's made of iron or perhaps a thermonuclear reactor, you may be so far from the truth, it's mind-blowing. A paper coming out from Pierre-Marie Robitaille back in 2013 posited that the sun is liquid metallic hydrogen. So, if you want further insights into the chromosphere and corona of the liquid metallic hydrogen sun model, you can bone up on the first paper on the topic by Pierre-Marie Robitaille. Now, the interesting thing is this paper has been now out for a decade, and not a single peer-reviewed paper has come out to go against this idea. Now, what that means is that this model may very well be true. Another thing that's true and saddens our heart, a good friend of the channel, Dr. Paul Alex LaViolette, is no longer with us. Dr. Paul died at the age of 75, an astrophysicist, an inventor, an author, a researcher, a lifelong resident of Nisakayuno. He passed on 19 December 2022 in Greece. He's responsible for etheric.com, the foundation of the Starburst Foundation.org. We're going to share you all this information. We had many wonderful conversations with Paul over the years, and he was planning on coming to the next LeakCon or event that we were having this year. Unfortunately, Paul didn't get a chance. But we're going to venerate him at any event we have in the future by talking about his amazing ideas and science, including the galactic superwaves. So please come over to the Starburst Foundation at starburstfound.org and check out the work of Paul LaViolette, a hero amongst heroes. We love you, Paul. We know you are well. The U.S. Navy divers are now working to recover debris from the Chinese spy balloon as diplomacy dwindles. The powers that be know what is coming, and they are certainly maneuvering to get the best, angle as the situation deteriorates. Don't be scared, be prepared, and that's a boom to knowledge. Proper prior planning prevents piss-poor performance. Time is ticking. The magnetic excursion is ongoing. We deepen into the grand solar minimum, and at any moment, the sun could unleash a coronal mass ejection. Another major earthquake just occurred. It's only a matter of time till a VEI 7 blows the sun into darkness. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Become a Patreon. Support the work we do. We love you. And we'll see you soon with another boom.